Jen, and I am bringing you something kind of fun on my YouTube channel today. Juliet Sheriff and I have teamed up to bring you this new series, which, well, it's possibly a series. We're trying this once and seeing how it goes, called Inspired By. And each time that we do this, we will choose something or someone to be inspired by for a layout that we create. And today we've chosen Wilna Furstenburg, who is amazing, and I will link to her YouTube channel as well as Juliet's in my show notes. So I've pulled out some products that I kind of feel like would be things that Wilna might use, including some cut files from my silhouette. I've picked some gelatos, which I don't know the names. Sorry, they came in a big package and it doesn't say the names on each one. Like I said, I cut some detailed kind of flourishy cuts on my silhouette with some watercolor paper by Canson. I know that Wilna's favorite embellishment is one of her favorite embellishments is chipboard, and so I pulled out what I have left. I've recently used up some big chipboard sheets, so I pulled out some Teresa Collins chipboard that I have, as well as some Heidi Swap chipboard frames. And then I've just pulled out some other embellishments in the colors that I think I'm going to use. I did also find these Heidi Swap chipboard pieces, and this Amy Tangerine. I think the thickers are called Lucky, and they are phrases in chipboard. And so I might use that for my title. I also have these uh, kind of laser cut chipboard pieces from Too Crafty and Wow. They're Australian companies that I got in a 500 subscriber giveaway from Jenny Box. I think she's Jen Box here on YouTube. Or it's the other way around. She's Jenny Box on YouTube and Jen Box on Facebook. I can't remember. Anyway, I thought I might use some of these. And then I just have some text printed paper, which I know that also Wilna loves text printed papers, which I do as well, so that'll work perfectly. And then I've just got some white cardstock and some more watercolor paper. I've got these 3 photos that I haven't decided which one I want to use yet, but it'll be one of these 3, and they're all from the same photo shoot. And I will go ahead and get started. So I am going to first start by, well, I'm going to move everything out of the way so I can get started. I'm going to adhere my watercolor paper to the background. I don't have a 12 by 12 sheet of watercolor paper. I have a 9 by 12 sheet, and so what I'm going to do is use half of, not half, I'm going to cut about a 3.5-inch strip of that text paper to cover up the other half of the layout where the watercolor paper will not be. And I've decided to go ahead and use this photo of my daughter based on where that cut file looked best. And it looked best kind of along the bottom of the photo, and that worked best with this photo. So I chose kind of based on that. And I'm going to, like I said, adhere the papers, and I'm using some score tape because I want this to adhere really nicely to my background. I know that I'm going to be using gelatos and water, and there might be some bowing, even though I'm using this really thick, heavy watercolor paper. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is adhered nicely to this white piece of cardstock. You could use any piece of cardstock really for this. If I would have thought about it, I might have used a color I don't usually use, but I just got out the white, and that's fine. And now I'm adhering the text print over the side. I'm just trying to line that up as best as I can. And I don't do a perfect job. You'll see me cut off a little bit from the top and a little bit from the bottom because I didn't quite line those up perfectly. But that's okay. And I'm going to place my photo kind of along where those 2 pieces join. And I'm just kind of trying to get an idea for where I want to put the color, so I decide that I'm going to put it all at the bottom. So I'm just coloring with those gelatos, and I'm going to use a brush and just kind of move that color around. And at this point, I kind of was worried about where the layout was going. It didn't look good to me at first, and that blue color just didn't want to move for some reason. That particular gelato just wasn't really blending as well as the others were. I took a baby wipe to try to clean it up a little bit and to see if I could get that color moving, and it just wasn't. So I got my watercolors out, and these are just some watercolors I've had for a long time from Reeves. That's the brand. And I thought I might try to mix my own kind of bluish color. It was too dark. I wanted it to be brighter, and so I just ditched that. I found another gelato in a blue color, and that one just wasn't moving either. I don't know what was going on, but eventually I just end up going with it, and it looks really great in the end. So I'm glad I stuck with it because I almost gave up right there. And I was just pointing to the grass kind of runs right in the photo, runs right into where that bluish green color starts. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and paint this laser cut chipboard piece with some white paint. And this works out perfectly because the watercolor paper that I cut the intricate cut file from is kind of an off-white color, and because I'm using a pure white paint, but because it's going over the chipboard, unless I put on several coats, it's not going to be pure white, which is actually just perfect because it ends up matching just right. So I'm just going to paint that and put it off to the side, and I'm going to try to decide now where I want to place things. I'm going to see what I want my title to be first, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this word lucky. And then I'm pulling out some of the other chipboard pieces to see what I can work into my design. So I'm going to play with a few different options here, and I think I'm going to go with those pieces from Heidi Swap and maybe some butterflies from this Maggie. Oh, it's from Notes and Things actually, from Crate Paper, and I don't end up using those. But I'm going to paint that word lucky in white. I kind of felt like the layout was looking heavy. I really wanted it to be light and airy and bright. That's something that I really, when I look at Wilna's layouts, the colors always make me happy, and it just looks bright and fresh. And so I felt like the craft color was kind of dragging the layout down a little bit, and so I wanted to paint the word lucky. So I do that, and it ends up working out great. I love the way that it looks when it's dry. So while that dries, I'm going to go ahead and play with placement on a few things and pull out a few other things to see if I can incorporate them. I pulled out these transparencies from the Maggie Holmes Open Book Collection. There's a white one with a heart, and I thought I might place that over the photo, and then there were some gold ones, and I liked the idea of bringing gold in, so I thought I might layer some up behind the photo. Ultimately, I changed my mind, but I do find something else that I want to use. So I'm still playing with that, and looking at it now, it probably could have worked just fine, but I just ended up going a different direction. So, and I'm happy with where it went. So I'm just looking at some stickers now, trying to decide what I might be able to use, and I wanted to find some florals, so that was important to me. So I'm looking through some of my other stickers, some other things I didn't pull out, to find some florals. I found that red floral from a sticker sheet from Simple Stories, but it's just a little too red. And that one that's sitting on top of the die cut is from a new Crate Paper line, and the name is escaping me right now. I pulled out some leaves from this super old Dear Lizzie sticker sheet, and I'm just looking for some more things now. I remember that I bought this Project Life kit at Michael's, and there were some kind of watercolored flowers in it that have some gold foiling on it, and I thought those would be the perfect addition to this layout. And then I am looking through some of the other things that I pulled out, and I'm going to start layering up some of these flowers to see if that's the direction that I want to go. And I'm really liking the way it looks. The colors happen to match the gelato colors really well, and so I really like the way that they look on the layout. And then I'm going to use those leaf stickers from the Dear Lizzie sticker book as well. And then I pulled out some of these frames from the Heidi Swap memory planner. collection that she has, and I'm going to layer those up next to the photo on the left of the photo. And I'm going to layer in some of the flowers that I pulled out as well. And I'm going to play around with placement a little bit before I make any final decisions. I know that my video stopped. I didn't realize that I didn't have quite enough room on my camera to film this video, but I unload it and come back. So it will skip ahead here in a second, but I'm just going to start adhering everything down. I'm putting the photo on foam squares, and I'm using not the thin foam ones that I usually use, but these 3D ones from, I think it's 3L or Scrapbook Adhesives or something like that. And I'm going to place the photo down, and that leaves me enough room to layer the chipboard frames underneath of it. So I'm just going to adhere some things down, and like I said, the video cuts out, and that'll be here in just a second. Something I wanted to point out is that I purposely made that phrase, "laughing is good for your health." I put the photo right underneath that so that you could see that phrase. Here's where it cut ahead quite a lot. So I've adhered all of those things down, and then I painted those. Those chipboard hearts came from the same sticker sheet as the Lucky, and I painted those as well. And I went ahead and added the word "so very" with some letter stickers that are from Teresa Collins. And I also added that little "so happy" chipboard pieces from Teresa Collins as well. That's in the bottom right cluster of the flowers there. I'm just writing a little bit of journaling, and right before I did that, you saw me do some black ink splatters, and I used some calligraphy ink because I don't use my calligraphy ink very often for calligraphy. And I'm just, like I said, writing the journaling, and that I'll add a date stamp after that using my Chamel roller date stamp that I have sitting right there on my table, and then that's going to complete the layout. So I really love the way that this turned out, and it was really fun to kind of try something a little bit more artsy and technique-y. And I think I channeled Wilna, but I also stayed true to my style as well. So it's been so much fun to try this out, and please check out Juliet's YouTube channel so that you can see her take on Wilna. And like I said, I'll leave a link in the notes below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.